In this video, I'll be painting the sunflowers. For my sunflower painting, the background was completed on another day and is already dry. So by the end of today, I'd like to have my sunflowers painted. So with this sunflower, I'm using a technique where I mix my paints directly on the canvas. So putting a light yellow next to a darker yellow next to a orange, and then maybe mixing a yellowish orange and putting them right next to each other on each individual petal. So if you look at that closely, you'll see each petal as a light side, or is lighter in general than the one next to it. But each petal has multiple colors in it. I'm going to use a different approach for my other sunflower so that you can choose which one you think works best for you, or you could try both approaches as well. Generally, it's going to look better if you use the same style in both of your flowers. I did mine differently just so that I could show you more than one way to paint the foreground, right? Basically the subject matter of our painting, which is the sunflower. So now I'm just going in with my brown paint for the center of the sunflower. You might have sunflower pictures that you're using, or if you were in my class, we have vases of really nice faux or fake sunflowers that we can look at to see what do each individual petal actually look like and what color is the center. But of course, you can use your imagination, use your own artistic license to change that. So if you wanted the center of your flower to be pink, that would, be up to you. So we are trying to use mostly warm colors for the flowers and cool colors for the background. This is going to help our foreground stand out and also just have us have two really separate clear to see grounds. So this is an example of how I'm going to mix the paint directly on top. So these little mini petals that I'm going in and putting this orange paint on, you can see I'm putting orange right next to orange. So each petal, it's actually a little bit difficult to tell one from the next, which is why I need to layer additional colors of paint on top of that. So now that I go back in with this lighter orange, you can start to see that each one of those areas is its own petal. So I used a similar technique doing the larger petals outside of those ones you just watched me paint. So I painted them all light yellow, then I went with a darker yellow and put that in areas, and then orange and put that in different areas. That way it doesn't look like one big blob of a yellow flower or an orange flower, but you can actually see individual petals. For the second one, I am actually making each petal a slightly different color. So I already did two before I started this video, and so I used a very light yellow, then I added a tiny bit of orange to that same color, and then painted a next set of petals. And the only key is to not paint two petals next to each other the same exact tint or shade, right? So I'm making light and dark versions of yellow, or getting even a little bit into orangish yellow. So you can see there's barely a difference between that petal on the left and the new one that I'm painting on the right. But there's enough of a difference that you can tell they're separate petals. Again, so it doesn't look like a big yellow blob. We've spent a lot of time drawing and transferring our drawing onto the canvas. We don't want to mess it up by eliminating, right, or losing some of those really beautiful details that we found by really paying attention and really observing the object that we were drawing. So again, this is just slightly darker. So you can see this is my third shade of yellow, starting to be an orangish yellow now. I painted the center of this one first, so I just went ahead and made that orange so it's different than the last one, which was brown. So going in, painting another petal. Again, it's close to the color next to it, but it's different enough, especially as they dry, you'll really be able to see the difference. It's subtle, but you can still tell they're different petals. Now, again, tiny bit of orange. You can see I have barely any paint in there. It's plenty, right, to paint a few petals. So again, starting to get orangish now. I love this color actually. It looks very bright and happy. If I had to pick one color to kind of be the essence of my sunflowers, I would probably choose this color or the color before. Just a really beautiful, warm, original color. So part of the fun of making shades and tints, and of course I could have added a little pink to this instead of orange. I could have added a tiny, tiny bit of red to my yellow, and that would also, of course, start to make it orange, but it would get much oranger much quicker if I add red instead of an orange. Now I'm just going along the very edge. There was just a tiny part of a petal sticking out next to this one. Again, the key is not painting two right next to each other the same exact color. So now I am coming in with a bit of a darker orange and adding that to my mini first yellow. So all the colors in the sunflower petal all started in that front left circle of my mixing tray. And each time I needed a darker color, I just added a little bit more. So I will show you a picture or the actual canvas if I have it now, and it will be time for you to paint your own.